My wife stayed quiet when her mom kicked me out. She froze when she learned I'd paid every bill for 3 years. The house went empty in 5 days. My mother-in-law stood in my kitchen as if she owned it. "You should move out," she stated casually, as if she were proposing I try another brand of coffee. "Ryan and Chloe need this place. They're trying to start a family. They need the space more than you and Emily do." I paused, mug halfway to my lips. She didn't ask, explain, or even appear uncomfortable. She just made a decision. My wife Emily sat at the kitchen table, browsing through her phone. She looked up for a half second when her mother spoke, then returned to Instagram. There was no defense, argument, or flinch. That stung more than Margaret's remarks. "My name is John Williams. I am 32 years old. I work as a financial analyst for a mid-sized IT business, and I had been married to Emily Williams for 3 years. We resided in a 4-bedroom home in Westchester County, New York. Nice area, wonderful schools, the type of place that young families will kill themselves to afford." Margaret Williams, my mother-in-law, had been a continuous presence since the beginning of our marriage. She had views about everything: our furnishings, food planning, weekend activities, and potential vacation destinations. I learnt early on to simply nod and be silent. The easygoing son-in-law. The one who didn't create a scene, who smiled at family dinners and helped with dishes without being asked, and who remained silent when Margaret made passive-aggressive remarks about my profession not being as remarkable as her other children's. For 3 years, I had been effectively invisible, and functionally, I was happy with it until now. "When were you thinking?" I inquired calmly. Margaret waved her hand. "Oh, not immediately. Maybe in a month or 2. Ryan's lease is up in August, so that gives you time to find something smaller, more appropriate for just the 2 of you. More proper translation costs less." I cautiously placed down my mug. I looked at Emily. She was still not looking at me. "Okay," I said. Margaret grinned. "I knew you'd understand. You're always so reasonable, John." She departed after 20 minutes. I imagined she was already texting Ryan with the good news. Emily eventually looked up from her phone. "You're not actually mad, are you?" "Why would I be mad?" "I don't know. You seem tense." I laughed. I couldn't help it. "Your mother just told me to move out of my own house." "It's not your house," Emily replied, then stopped herself. "I mean, it's ours, but Mom has a point. Ryan and Chloe need the room. We don't have kids yet." "Yet," I replied. "You know what I mean?" I did understand what she meant. She meant her family came first, as it always had, and I'd been too obliging to notice. That night, I laid in bed, looking at the ceiling, while Emily slept comfortably next to me. I considered the rent checks I'd been writing for 3 years. Every month, $4,800 is deducted from my account and paid on schedule. Emily paid for groceries and electricity, which amounted to about $800 each month. Her earnings as a part-time social media manager were variable, sometimes good, sometimes not. Margaret believed this home was family property, that the Williams owned it in some way, and that I was living here because of their charity. She had no idea, nor did Emily, it seemed. I had handled all of the invoices in such a quiet and efficient manner that they had become invisible work. Background noise is anything that happens without anyone's awareness. I turned over to gaze at Emily's sleeping face. When did I become so easily dismissed? That night, I had the best sleep I'd had in months, because when Margaret instructed me to go, I finally felt free to let go of everything. The next morning, at 8:47 a.m., I contacted Precision Movers to hire them rather than get a price. "I need a full-service move," I informed the scheduler, Rita, who had been with the firm for 12 years, according to her email signature. 4-bedroom home. "I want to be out by this Saturday." "This Saturday?" She expressed amazement. "That's 5 days from now." "I know, can you do it?" "We can do it. It'll cost extra for the rush." "That's fine. And you'll need to pay the deposit today, $2,000. I handed her my card number without hesitation. After I hung up, I sat down at my home office desk, which I had erected myself while Emily was at her mother's place, and opened up my files. I had years of spreadsheets with rent payments, furniture receipts, appliance purchases, and every significant cost in this property, all monitored and categorized like the financial expert I was. The couch in the living room cost $2,200 and was purchased using my credit card in October 2021. The Samsung 65-inch TV, $350, was purchased using my credit card in December 2021. My credit card was charged $750 for the KitchenAid dishwasher. The Whirlpool washer and dryer set cost $1,400 and was paid for using my credit card. The dining table and chairs cost $2,900 on my credit card. $1,600 was charged to my credit card for the guest bedroom items. I'd purchased almost everything in this house. Margaret dubbed it family property. I named it my. On Tuesday afternoon I started packing systematically. Clothes come first, then personal documents, and last books and devices. I didn't touch anything that wasn't clearly mine, which proved to be less than they expected. Emily arrived home about 4 p.m. after a coffee appointment with her sister. She put her purse on the foyer table, which I had purchased, and yelled out, "Jace, are you home? Office?" I responded. She arrived in the doorway and spotted the boxes. Her smile wavered. "What's this? Packing for what?" "I'm moving out. Like your mother asked." Her face changed emotions multiple times. Confusion, bewilderment, and perhaps terror. "I didn't think you were serious." "Why wouldn't I be serious?" "Because," she said, gesturing aimlessly. "Because it's a lot of work and we don't have to do this right away." Mom was just thinking out loud. She told me to move out so Ryan could move in. "I'm moving out, but where will you go?" "I signed a lease yesterday. 1 bedroom in White Plains, closer to my office." That wasn't the truth. I had signed it that morning, but the expression on Emily's face made the minor deceit worthwhile. "You already signed a lease without talking to me?" I gazed at her. Really looked. "Did you talk to me before your mother told me to leave?" She had no response. Margaret arrived unannounced at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. I was in the living room, covering picture frames in bubble wrap, when I heard her key in the lock. She'd had the key since we moved in. I had never questioned it. She paused at the doorway, shopping bags in hand, and gazed into the half-empty living room. 4 boxes put at the entrance, the TV covered, and the coffee table cleaned. "John, what is happening on?" "I'm moving out." The shopping bags slid through her fingers. "What? You told me to move out." "I'm moving out." Her expression clenched. "I didn't mean this week." "When did you mean?" "I don't know. August, September, when Ryan's lease is up." "You said I should move out. You didn't specify a timeline, so I picked one." She moved to the kitchen, her voice increasing. Amy, what is happening?" Amy came from the bedroom where she had been hiding since her mother's car arrived. "Mom, I don't know. He just started packing, make him stop." "I can't make him do anything." Margaret came back to me and I saw a change in her demeanor. The rightful confidence broke just little. "This is unreasonable," she stated. "You're being childish." I taped a box shut, scribbled "Books Office" on the side in Sharpie, and said nothing. "John, I'm talking to you." "I heard you." "Then respond." I straightened and stared at her. "You told me to move out." "I'm moving out. That's my response." Her jaw worked. "We need to discuss this like adults." "I'm open to discussion. What would you like to discuss?" "Your attitude, for one thing." "My attitude is cooperative. You asked me to leave. I'm leaving." "You know what I meant?" "Do I?" The question hovered in the air, like smoke. Margaret's face reddened. "This house needs to stay in the family." "It's not in the family," I explained gently. "It's a rental. Ryan needs it." "Then Ryan can rent it." "He can't afford it." She paused and caught herself, but it was too late. "Can't afford what?" I inquired. "The $4,800 monthly rent." Her face had lost all of its color. Amy's head jerked upward. "What?" I kept my eye on Margaret. "You didn't know the rent amount?" I assumed it was split somehow." "Or covered by?" She paused again. "See, covered by who?" She said nothing. "You thought it was covered by the family trust?" "I told you so. Or maybe you thought Amy's father was still paying it before he passed." "John," Amy remarked firmly. "What are you talking about?" I turned to my wife. "I've been paying the rent every month for 3 years. $4,800 from my account." Amy's expression turned blank. "That's not possible. Check the bank statements." "You never told me." "You never asked." The hush that followed was oppressive. Margaret sat down firmly on the couch. "My $2,200 sofa." Her hands shook faintly. "Who's going to pay it if you leave?" she said calmly. I did not respond since we both knew. Nobody. Thursday, the movers arrived with boxes and packing materials. Lucas and Ethan are 2 males in their late 20s who are competent and efficient. They walked around the house in a methodical manner, wrapping furniture, packing boxes, and questioning which objects were mine. All of them, I answered. All of it. Margaret showed up again at midday. She had been phoning all morning. I had not responded. She strolled into the living room and came to a complete halt. The couch was covered in plastic and ready to load. The television is already in the truck. The dining table was dismantled. You can't take everything, she said. I can take what I paid for. This is absurd. I gave her a folder. Receipts, order confirmations, and credit card bills. Everything in this house that I bought is highlighted. She opened the folder and flipped through the pages. Her face changed from pink to white. The dining table, mine. The appliances, mine. The couch, mine. She peered about the fast emptying house, as if she were seeing it for the first time. She murmured, "What are we supposed to sit on?" I nearly laughed. "That's not my problem." Amy emerged from the bedroom. She had been weeping. Her eyes were red and swollen. "Mom. He's taking the washer and dryer." Margaret's head jerked upward. "You can't." "I can," I said. "I have the receipts, but you need." I shut her off. 3 days ago you told me to leave. You didn't ask what I was paying. You didn't ask what I owned. You just decided I should go. So, I'm going and I'm taking what's mine. Lucas hauled the washer out on a dolly. Margaret observed it like a funeral procession. "John, please." Her voice crackled. "We can work this out." "No," I said gently. "We can't." "Why not?" "Because you never respected me enough to ask." By 6 p.m. on Thursday the home had been gutted. There is no sofa, television, dining table or appliances other than those that came with the house. Even the nice cookware was gone. Amy's antique cookware were always catching fire, so I purchased everything. Amy sat on the bedroom floor, surrounded by the furniture I had left, including her dresser, nightstand and childhood desk, which Margaret demanded we preserve. "I didn't know," she responded when I arrived to get my final package. "I swear I didn't know you were paying for everything." "How could you not know? I thought we were splitting it. I thought." She paused and started weeping again. "I'm sorry." "Sorry isn't enough." "What do you want me to say?" "Nothing. There's nothing to say." I picked up my package and began to leave. "John," I hesitated. "Are we getting divorced?" I thought about it. Really considered. "I don't know yet," I said. "But I'm done being invisible." Friday morning my phone burst. Text messages from Margaret, Emily's sister, Chloe and Ryan himself. "We need to talk. This is insane. You're destroying the family. Mom is devastated." I blocked Margaret. I muted the group chat, but then a number I didn't know phoned. I almost didn't respond. "John Williams speaking. This is David Thompson, the landlord. I need to discuss your lease." My stomach sank. "What about it?" "Your mother-in-law called me this morning. Said you're moving out and that her son Ryan will be taking over the lease." "That is not how leasing works." "I'm aware." He sounded exhausted. "But she's insisting, and I need clarity. You're the only name on the lease. If you're leaving, I need 30 days notice and the unit returned to move-in condition." "I gave notice yesterday. Email sent at 9 a.m. "I got it. But Mrs. Williams seems to think—" "Mrs. Williams doesn't get to think anything," I said. "I'm the leaseholder, not her, not my wife, me." "Understood. So to be clear, you're terminating the lease effective 30 days from yesterday?" "Yes. And no one else will be assuming it?" "Correct." There was a pause. "Mrs. Williams is going to be upset." "That's not my problem." He genuinely laughed. "Fair enough. I'll send you the move-out checklist." After I hung up, I opened my banking app, transferred the final month's rent of $4,800, and left a note. Final payment. Then I phoned my lawyer. Michael Anderson was 40 and had been practicing family law for 20 years. I had consulted him on Wednesday night to better understand my alternatives. "Michael, it's John Williams." "John, how'd the move go?" "Finished yesterday, but I need advice." "Shoot." "My wife and her family are losing their minds. They're calling, texting, showing up at my new place. Can I get a restraining order?" "Against your wife? Against my mother-in-law?" He was silent for a minute. "You'd need to prove harassment or threatening behavior. Do you have documentation?" 60 texts since yesterday, 10 calls. She showed up at my apartment this morning at 6 a.m. That might qualify. Forward me everything. I'll draft a cease and desist first. If she ignores it, we escalate. How long will that take? I can have the cease and desist letter sent today. Certified mail, she'll get it tomorrow. Do it. Margaret got her letter on Saturday morning. I know because she phoned me from a number that I had not yet banned. Chloe's phone. You sent me a legal letter. Her voice sounded harsh. From a lawyer. You wouldn't stop contacting me. I'm your mother-in-law. You're a woman who told me to leave my home and is now harassing me because I did exactly what you asked. This is cruel, John. No, I said gently. Cruel was dismissing me for 3 years. Cruel was assuming I was just furniture you could rearrange whenever convenient. This is just consequences. She began weeping. Actually weeping. We're going to lose the house. That's not my problem. Where are we supposed to go? Figure it out like I had to. I hung up. I've also blocked Chloe's number. Monday morning, I received an email from David Thompson. Subject: early termination of 47 Oakmont Drive. John, your mother-in-law came to my office this morning with her son Ryan. They want to assume the lease. I explained that would require a new application, credit check, income verification, and first month plus security deposit. Ryan's credit score is 580. His income is $42,000 per year. He doesn't qualify. Mrs. Williams offered to co-sign, but she's retired and living on a fixed income. Also doesn't qualify. I've notified them they have until September 1st to vacate. I wanted you to know in case they contact you again. Thanks for being a good tenant. Ray. I read the email 3 times and forwarded it to Michael Anderson with this note. For your records, the family implosion happened fast. Emily's sister Chloe contacted me Tuesday night from a different phone number. I responded because I was interested. John, please, Mom is having panic attacks. Ryan and I can't afford to take her in. You have to help. Why would I help? Because you're family. I was family when I was convenient. When I was paying for everything and staying quiet. Now that I'm inconvenient, I'm disposable. That's not fair. Life's not fair, Chloe. You'll figure that out soon. She hung up on me. Emily visited my office on Wednesday. The first call came from building security. Mr. Williams, there's an Emily Williams here to see you. Should I send her up? No, tell her I'm unavailable. She says it's urgent. It's not. She left the building as I observed from my office window. She appeared tiny, dejected. My phone vibrated. A text. Emily, I filed for separation. You'll get the papers soon. I thought you should know. I gazed at the message for 2 hours. Then I said, okay. That night, I hooked up with Michael Anderson again. Linda Torres, CPA, has 19 years of expertise in forensic accounting. Here's what we've got, Linda said, laying documents across the conference table. 3 years of rent payments, $21,600 total, all from your account, 0 from Emily's. She opened up another document. Furniture and appliances, $20,500. Home office equipment, $7,200. Kitchenware and basics, $3,800. Total documented purchases, $36,400. So, $210,000 total I put into that house, plus utilities, groceries, maintenance. But let's stick to the verifiable expenses. Yes, $210,000. Michael leaned forwards. In a divorce, this matters. You can claim reimbursement for the rent. It's not marital property since it was a rental. The furniture is yours and already removed, but we can potentially recover some funds depending on how the settlement goes. I don't want her money, I said. I want her to understand what she lost. Revenge isn't a legal strategy, Michael said cautiously. It's not revenge, it's clarity. Linda closed the folder. For what it's worth. I've seen a lot of financial manipulation in divorces, people hiding assets, lying about income, but I've never seen someone quietly paying for everything while being treated like they contributed nothing. She paused. That's a special kind of invisible. I'm not invisible anymore, I said. 3 weeks after I moved out, Margaret called from another number. I responded because I was feeling charitable, or perhaps just curious. John, her tone was changed, quiet and dejected. I need to apologize. Okay. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know you were paying for everything. Yes, you did. I didn't. You knew, Margaret. You just didn't care because in your mind I was supposed to pay. I was supposed to be grateful for the privilege of being part of your family. You never asked because you never thought you had to. Silence. The landlord is evicting us, she eventually said. Ryan can't afford any place good, and Chloe won't help. Emily is returning to live with me in my retirement condo. I am 64 years old, John. I am supposed to be traveling. Instead, I'm sharing a 3-bedroom house with my daughter after her husband departed. I did not leave, I clarified. You told me to. I know. Do you? Do you actually know? Her voice crackled. Yes. Good. Because for 3 years, I worked tirelessly to integrate into your family and become the person you desired. And the moment I ceased being helpful, you attempted to remove me like furniture. As if I didn't matter. Did you matter? No, I said gently. I was convenient. There is a difference. I hung up before she could reply. The divorce papers were finalized 2 months after I moved out. Emily did not challenge anything and did not seek alimony. She did not battle over assets. Instead, she signed. Michael called to tell me the news. This is official. You are divorced. A clean split. No ongoing obligations. That was fast. She did not want to drag it out. Honestly, I believe she feels guilty. She should. John. He hesitated. I've done this for a long time. I've witnessed brutal divorces, vicious custody fights, and financial warfare. This is about as civilized as it gets. She might have battled you over a number of issues. She didn't since she realized she was probably mistaken. At the very least, give her credit for that. I thought of Emily weeping on the bedroom floor and her mother's voice cracking on the phone. Maybe, I said. 3 months after I moved out, Ryan sent me a Facebook message. I felt you should know. Mom suffered a heart attack. She's all right. However, the physicians concluded that the stress was relevant. If you wish to pay her a visit, she is at White Plains Hospital. After staring at the message for 2 hours, I traveled to White Plains Hospital, 4th floor, cardiology wing, where I located Margaret's room at 4:17 p.m. Emily, who was seated in the chair by the bed, glanced up when I stepped in and her eyes widened. She was sleeping, her monitors beeping quietly, and she appeared to be older and smaller. John. Ryan has messaged me. You arrived. I came. We sat in quiet for a few minutes as Margaret's respiration remained steady and the monitors beeped their routine. Emily eventually stated, I'm sorry for everything. For not seeing how much you accomplished. For not protecting you. For allowing Mom to treat you as if you didn't matter. I know. Do you? I stared at her. I know you're sorry, but apologies don't erase 3 years of being invisible. I know that too. Margaret moved, her eyes flickered open. She took a time to concentrate, and then she froze upon seeing me. John. Hi, Margaret. Why are you here? Because despite everything, I'm not cruel. Her eyes flooded with tears. I lost everything. No, I responded gently. You lost something you took for granted. That's different. I should have. She paused, then said, I should have asked about the rent, what you were paying and everything. Yes, I said. You should have. Will you forgive me? I really thought about it. I don't know yet, I said. But I can tell you this. I'm done being the silent son-in-law. I am done being convenient. If you want me to be a part of your life, even if just peripherally, you must do it on my terms. With respect, acknowledgement, or not at all. She nodded slowly. I understand. I stood and gazed at Emily. Take care of her. John. Emily also stood. Thanks for coming. You did not have to. No, I said. I didn't. I went before the tears could begin. 6 months later, I am sitting in my 1-bedroom apartment in White Plains, which is smaller than the home, quieter, and wholly mine. My phone periodically buzzes. Emily occasionally texts me with updates on her mother and light conversation. I answer respectfully but distantly. Margaret gave me a handmade card last month. It was basic. Thank you for your visit. Thank you for everything you have done that I have never recognized. I am sorry I saw you so late. I saved the card since this is what I now realize. You cannot compel people to appreciate you, nor can you make them recognize what you have to offer. You can only choose what you are ready to accept. For 3 years, I tolerated being invisible because it was simpler than asking to be noticed. Nevertheless, the day Margaret urged me to go, she unintentionally gave me permission to quit accepting less than I deserved. She believed she was creating room for her son, but she was really making room for me to realize that I was more than just a passive participant. The horror I saw in her eyes as the movers vacated the house was not about losing possessions, but about losing control, which she never should have had in the first place.